Meet your ancestor Homo heidelbergensis, a branch of our family tree, the last known common ancestor of Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Male's average height was 5 feet 9 inches and weighed around 136 pounds. Females were 5 feet 2 inches tall and weighed 112 pounds. They lived approximately 700,000 to 200,000 years ago, originating in Africa. They displayed a combination of primitive and advanced characteristics, showing signs of complex, cognitive, and social behaviors. They worked in cooperative groups, skillfully hunting and butchering large animals such as rhinos, hippopotamus, bears, horses, deer, and other animals. They manufactured standardized stone tools, transported raw materials over distances, controlled fire, and constructed some of the earliest known shelters. Fossilized remains reveal they possessed relatively long legs and thick, robust bone shafts, which made their skeletons generally heavier and broader than modern Homo sapiens. They started migrating out of Africa 600,000 to 500,000 years ago, expanding into Europe and possibly parts of Western Asia. They lived in various environments from woodlands, grasslands, and forests. As they moved further into Europe, their bodies adapted to colder climates by becoming shorter and wider to retain heat more efficiently. Homo heidelbergensis marks a pivotal point when the human family began diverging. Those living in Europe gradually evolved into Neanderthals, while African populations ultimately gave rise to Homo sapiens. After leaving Africa for Europe, populations of Homo heidelbergensis gradually adapted to the colder climate. The change from Homo heidelbergensis to Neanderthal features were starting to be evident around 430,000 to 300,000 years ago, and 14,800 to 20,000 generations after starting their journey. The classic Neanderthal anatomy appeared 130,000 to 40,000 years ago. They developed the robust features that would define the classic Neanderthal. The large brains, prominent brow ridges, barrel-shaped chests, prominent wide noses for warming and humidifying freezing air before it reached their lungs. The robust hands with very wide, strong fingertips built for powerful gripping and manual labor. The large joints and pronounced muscle. The short, stocky, compact build body that decreased surface area, effectively conserving heat in icy climates. These adaptations evolved over hundreds of thousands of years, helping them thrive in the harsh climate of Europe. Contrary to popular belief, they did not spend their entire existence in snow-covered environments. Europe alternated between cold glacial periods and warmer interglacial periods, and Neanderthals successfully adapted to both. Although there are regional differences that caused the Neanderthals to evolve to suit the environment and climate they lived in, they are still part of the human family tree. They are our cousins. If you truly want to understand what life was like for a Neanderthal, forget everything you know about modern civilization. Imagine waking up tomorrow on a frozen continent with absolutely nothing. No warm bed, no insulated home, no grocery store, no electricity, no medicine, no phone to call for help, not even the clothes on your back. Outside, the temperature is well below freezing. A relentless wind tears across the open plains, carrying snow and dust through the air. Somewhere beyond the hills, wolves are already on the move. Cave lions patrol the valleys. A hungry cave hyena circles in the darkness. Every direction holds danger. Every decision carries consequences. There are no second chances. This wasn't an expedition. It wasn't an adventure. It was simply another morning. Neanderthals called this world home. Every sunrise began with one question. How do we keep everyone alive today? That single question shaped every decision they made. Food wasn't simply a necessity. It was survival. Keeping a Neanderthal alive demanded an extraordinary amount of energy. Their short, powerfully built bodies were perfectly adapted for conserving heat, but surviving the brutal winters of Ice Age Europe came at a cost. Each adult required between 3,000 and 5,500 calories every day, far more than the average modern adult. Now imagine a family group of 20 people. Together, they needed as many as 100,000 calories every single day. Miss one successful hunt. The group goes hungry. Miss several. Children weaken. The elderly suffer first. An entire community could disappear. For Neanderthals, hunger wasn't uncomfortable. It was relentless. Success was never about strength alone. It was about planning. Before dawn, experienced hunters studied the landscape with the same familiarity that modern hikers know their favorite trails. They understood where rivers narrowed, where marshes slowed heavy animals, where valleys became natural traps. They remembered migration routes that had been passed down through generations. This knowledge was as valuable as any weapon. When the moment came, every hunter knew exactly where to stand. Some quietly moved behind the herd. Others waited near river crossings. Another group blocked the only escape through a narrow valley. No one rushed. No one shouted. They waited. Then, suddenly, the herd exploded into motion. The hunters emerged together, driving frightened animals exactly where they wanted them to go. This wasn't chaos. It was strategy. Unlike later humans who hunted from a distance with bows and arrows, Neanderthals fought their prey face to face. Armed with heavy wooden spears tipped with finely crafted stone points, they closed the final distance on animals that outweighed them many times over. A charging bison, a frightened horse, a giant deer, even young mammoths. Every hunt carried enormous risk. One misplaced step could end a life in seconds. When the hunt was over, the work had only begun. A single carcass weighing hundreds of pounds had to be butchered and carried back to camp, sometimes across miles of rugged terrain. Every part of the animal mattered. The meat rebuilt exhausted muscles. The fat provided the concentrated energy needed to survive freezing winters. Bone marrow, rich in calories and nutrients, was carefully extracted by splitting open long bones with stone hammers. The hides became warm clothing, bedding, and shelter coverings. Sinew became strong cordage. Bones and antlers became tools. In the Ice Age, waste wasn't careless. It was dangerous. When the seasons allowed, they gathered berries, nuts, edible roots, mushrooms, seeds, tubers, and wild grains. Knowing which plants nourish the body and which could kill you was knowledge earned over countless generations. Neanderthals didn't build permanent towns. They followed the seasons. As herds migrated across Europe, they moved with them. Winter camps offered shelter from bitter winds. Summer camps placed them closer to rivers, forests, and grazing animals. Every journey was guided by memory, where fresh water could be found, where deer crossed the valley, where stone suitable for making tools could be collected. This knowledge wasn't written down. It lived in the minds of the people. Parents taught children. Experienced hunters taught the young, generation after generation. As evening fell, the day's dangers slowly gave way to the warmth of the fire. Its glow illuminated tired faces weathered by wind and cold. Hunters repaired damaged spears. Stone tools were sharpened for tomorrow. Animal hides were scraped and softened. Children watched carefully, learning skills they would one day depend upon. Meals were shared. Plans were made. Stories may have been told. Beyond the edge of the firelight, predators still waited in the darkness. But inside the circle, there was warmth. There was safety. There was family. For nearly 400,000 years, Neanderthals endured one of the most volatile climates our planet has experienced. They survived advancing glaciers, bitter winters, violent winds, shifting landscapes, and repeated cycles of environmental change that transformed Europe again and again. Yet their success was not the result of simply enduring hardship. It came from evolving alongside it. They were expert hunters who understood animal behavior with extraordinary precision, masters of fire, careful planners, teachers, parents, protectors. And perhaps the greatest lesson they leave behind is this: human survival has never depended on the strongest individual. It has always depended on communities willing to work together. That was true 60,000 years ago, and it remains true today. If you want a completely new perspective, hit that subscribe button right now. Join a community that questions the obvious. Let's change how you see the world, one video at a time.